Welcome to the Benning Report. Coming up in this edition, the impact of a combat support hospital.
And virtual reality training.
Later, a veteran shares his experience on D-Day.
Welcome to the Benning Report. I'm David Wright.
And I'm Melissa Bell with the Fort Benning Public Affairs Office. Thanks for watching.
Training brigades are a vital part of transforming civilians into soldiers. One such brigade at Fort Benning recently welcomed its new commander.
The 198th Infantry Brigade welcomed its new commander, Colonel Richard Timmons, in a change of command ceremony at the National Infantry Museum on May 19th. Outgoing Commander Colonel Jonathan Newman has been reassigned to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, while Colonel Timmons most recently served as Chief of Doctrine and Collective Training at the Maneuver Center of Excellence. The mission of the 198th Infantry Brigade is to transform civilian volunteers into disciplined infantrymen possessing the values, skills, fitness, and character expected of soldiers.
It's a very rewarding, very humbling, but at the same time pretty exciting to have the opportunity to take on the mission of training tomorrow's future infantrymen.
Timmons is a distinguished military graduate of North Georgia College. He has deployed twice to Afghanistan for Operation Enduring Freedom and to Panama for Operation Safe Haven. His awards and decorations include a Bronze Star Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster. He has fond memories of Fort Benning, with some of his earliest childhood memories being of growing up here. He credits Fort Benning with helping shape him as a person. For that reason, he says it's an honor to serve here and to take this command where he has the opportunity to shape others, turning young volunteers into the best soldiers they can be, embodying the warrior ethos.
It's a team, you know. Nobody succeeds on their own. We succeed as a group, and we will learn from each other. We will build on the experiences from one another, and we'll accomplish the mission together.
Colonel Timmons says he looks forward to building a high-performing organization that can be relied upon to do the mission it is called to do. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
The 14th Combat Support Hospital must remain ready for anything at any time. I caught up with the 14 Cache as they tested new equipment in a simulated deployed setting. The 14th Combat Support Hospital is a lot like any typical hospital soldiers may visit. They have the latest in equipment and provide an excellent standard of care. But there's one main difference. They have to be ready to stand up their hospitals anywhere at any time, giving this combat support hospital a very unique set of attributes.
Versatility, agility, flexibility, any operation would ask us to be able to tailor our capability to meet the specific needs of the mission. And what is key to things like this training exercise is pushing the soldiers and leaders to understand just how many different configurations we can use, how many different capability sets we could deploy so that we would be best postured to support any situation.
The 14 Cache uses deployable medical systems, which are specialized tents to stand up their hospitals. And not only do they provide health services for a variety of situations and settings, they are also responsible for veterinary services, commissary food safety inspections, as well as other vital services in the surrounding community.
We have a full range of services. We have an emergency room, an operating room. We provide radiology support, x-ray, lab. We have ICU and ICW capability.
Even at home, their partnership with Fixed Facilities allows the 14th Cache to maintain its focus on readiness as they train and test new equipment to provide excellence in their standard of care.
We have our deployable operating room set up right now at Fort Stewart, and it's an absolute model for how the deployable equipment can augment a fixed facility in a garrison setting and demonstrate that that standard of care can be present regardless of the equipment being used.
And while current conflicts wind down, the 14th Cache is still making an impact downrange. As they stay ever ready for a mission, they're providing preventative medicine services that will aid in the drawdown and closing of bases. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
Did you know that the Army has a variety of educational opportunities? 2 lieutenants, who happen to be husband and wife, have been accepted to law school and share their upcoming adventure.
Fort Benning Criminal Law Section, this is Lieutenant Bowden speaking. How may I help you, sir, ma'am?
This is First Lieutenant Mark Bowden. He's spending his final days at Fort Benning working in the Judge Advocate General's office as an intern. He and his wife, First Lieutenant Morgan Bowden, have both been accepted into the funded legal education program and will soon leave for law school.
Some of my long-term goals, I always wanted to be in the military and I wanted to go to law school. So for me, the FLIP program was the way to facilitate both those goals.
The program exists to provide for the legal education of soldiers, accepting up to 25 applicants per year. It does come with certain parameters, and young officers must choose early in their careers if it is something they wish to pursue.
They have to be commissioned officers on active duty, have to be in the rank of 01 through 03, and importantly, and one that gets a lot of folks, is that you have to have between 2 and 6 years of active commissioned service on the day you start law school.
Most JAG Corps officers are direct commissionees or ROTC graduates coming in after an educational delay to law school. The FLEP program exists to have a pool of officers with actual Army experience who have shown leadership aptitude as platoon leaders or company commanders.
And I should mention that during that time, you are still in the Army. You are drawing your full pay and allowances. You're receiving your basic pay, your BAS, your BAH, and the Army's paying for your law school. It truly is going to school for free.
This year, only 21 applicants were accepted across the Army, so First Lieutenants Mark and Morgan Bowden realize how fortunate they are to be able to enter law school as husband and wife in their home state. Colonel Pochet says there has been a decrease in the number of applications in recent years and hopes more young officers will take advantage of the program.
It really sets you up well as far as getting that education and getting a valuable skill set that you can apply in the military and also outside in the civilian world.
The Bowdens will be attending law school at the University of Maine after spending the summer earning on-the-job training at Fort Drum. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
Entering the Army can open a world of opportunities when it comes to leadership and skills. We introduce you to 2 infantry officers that explain how the infantry has developed them, personally and professionally.
According to the Department of Defense, the infantry branch consists of nearly 8,100 Army officers. From that number, less than 17% are minorities. We speak to 2 leaders as they share their infantry experience and why they encourage others to join the ranks.
Meet Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Baker. He is one of the very few black infantry officers in command on Fort Benning, transforming new soldiers into infantrymen.
As a young man, I wanted to belong to an organization that had a purpose and be able to do something that was impactful and allow me to do something that was bigger than myself and give back to my community.
Serving in uniform for over 20 years, Baker has heard many misconceptions about serving in the infantry.
One is that this is not a place for minorities, and I think that is still far from the truth. Anyone can succeed in this business. This business is about leadership, and we expect you to be technically and tactically proficient and take the challenge every day to do what's right by the soldiers under your charge. The second misconception is that you don't have to be intelligent to be an infantryman, whether enlisted or an officer. And again, enlisted men are strategic thinkers who can take on any obstacle, overcome and achieve any objective in any situation.
Former commander of the 2nd Battalion, 29th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Darren Jennings, says that his race has never been an issue as he rose through the ranks.
Those opportunities are available, but there are opportunities that come through hard work and, quite frankly, some good luck. Being in the right place at the right time, and that has nothing to do with your race. I just think it has to do with having those opportunities. But I think the sky's the limit for anyone in the military, whether you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic. You can reach the highest levels as long as you put in the work.
And they encourage other minorities to join the ranks of the infantry and help lead.
Leadership is leadership, and if you step forward and take the challenge, we can increase the amount of diversity in these branches and show everyone that we're capable of succeeding.
Sarah Tate, Fort Benning TV.
Coming up next, the Maneuver Battle Lab tests cutting-edge technology. The Maneuver Battle Lab tested a new tool that could affect how leaders make decisions on the battlefield. We take a look at SolSat and how it could impact situational awareness. Fort Benning's Maneuver Battle Lab tested a new prototype that could allow platoon and squad leaders to see what's around the corner with a simple touch of a button, thanks to SolSat, the small unit leader situational awareness tool.
Currently, the way the systems, you have an operator who has a controller, and the leader has to either use a radio or voice, or either go by the operator and stand over him and see the information that he's receiving from the unmanned systems.
This new technology uses a Wi-Fi signal to broadcast a real-time image from the controller device to a smartphone in the hands of a leader, increasing situational awareness, maneuverability, and survivability of a soldier.
Ideally, we'd like to give the leader the opportunity to see that information that the operator is seeing without compromising his own personal protection and effectively losing command of his unit. He's able to look at the information that he's receiving from the operator and make decisions that's best suited for his unit.
There's just two boxes on here, one ground, there's ground feed, and on the top there's air feed, so I can see the Raven feed from over top. And then if I want to zoom in, I can of course ask the Raven operator, or I can also zoom in just on my screen.
In ideal conditions, this video can be viewed up to 300 meters away and with up to 30 different connections like unmanned ground vehicles or aerial vehicles. Smartphones are small enough to fit in a pocket or a pouch, and the video receives high marks.
The video is quite clear, and they seem to feel that they get enough quality of the video. It's not too choppy, it's not too pixelated, but the distance is something that we'll be looking to improve and greatly expand.
After testing, data will be analyzed to determine the outcome of this new technology concept. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
The Army's ability to provide realistic training with minimal risk is enhanced by immersive virtual reality technology. We head to the Clark Simulation Center on Fort Benning to learn more about the Dismounted Soldier Training System.
The Dismounted Soldier Training System is designed to train the 9-man squad in a safe and cost-effective way. This is done through virtual reality at the Clark Simulation Center. Software allows trainers to choose an environment or terrain, populate it with various enemy and friendly elements, load in the avatars of the squad members, and then run the simulated scenario.
I got one moving. Where at? I got him. Essentially, it's a big video game. It kind of takes you virtually into Iraq or Afghanistan or just any combat scenario that you would be in without actually have to go out into the woods or actually have to deploy.
This provides a cost-effective method for learning everything from basic squad movements to mission rehearsals in realistic environments, many of which are based on real-world locations. A quick reset allows for more rotations, granting younger soldiers an opportunity to take on a leadership role. The Dismounted Soldier Training System fully immerses the soldiers into a 3D world populated with enemy soldiers, civilian bystanders, IEDs, and more, all controlled with a mouse and keyboard. The entire exercise is recorded, providing an invaluable visual tool for after-action reports and teaching points.
Stay right here and look down this road.
It's super realistic. The way you move, the way your weapon responds to you, the way you respond with the weapon, the reloading technique, all of it is really realistic.
This type of enhanced training is very effective in achieving overmatch at the squad level, and today's session is intended to familiarize soldiers with the interface before engaging in a full-speed squad overmatch exercise next month. The system has been operational since 2012, when the Army chose Fort Benning as the location of the very first of its type. The DSTS operators at Clark Simulation Center want brigade commanders and S3s to be aware of the training opportunities they provide.
Here at Fort Benning, it's designed for squad leader. We can handle 2 squads, so we come in here, that squad is ready to train. It takes about 2 hours for familiarization. Then once they get that familiarization completed, they actually can start missions.
Sergeant Melendez says the soldiers enjoy the futuristic feel of such cutting-edge immersive technology, but hopes his squad improves in time for next month's overmatch exercise. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
After the break, Fort Benning recognizes Gold Star families. But first, Fort Benning's Picture This.
Surviving loved ones of fallen soldiers remain an important part of the Army family. I spoke to Gold Star families to find out what they'd like you to know.
America's freedom comes at a heavy cost. Each Memorial Day, the nation honors all servicemen and women that gave the last full measure of their devotion. It is a priority of the Army to assure the family members left behind are not forgotten, that their needs are met, and that they remain, to whatever extent they wish, a part of the Army family. The Gold Star program is an opportunity for America to recognize these families. If you see a spouse or a parent wearing the Gold Star pin, the families say a simple thank you is always appreciated.
If you want to say something to me, come give me a hug, come support me in any way you can, send a prayer to heaven, that would be awesome in any way, shape, or form. All the support we can get is great.
Fort Benning Survivor Outreach Services currently meets the needs of 147 Gold Star families. An effort is underway to build a stronger sense of community within the Gold Star program and to assure that all survivors realize they remain a vital part of the Army community.
It is such an honor to be a Gold Star wife because I get to carry his legacy on and continue to get to honor him and his memory and everything I get to do, and hope that it inspires other soldiers to be incredible leaders like him.
For some reason, we've forgotten in this country what it is to be a Gold Star family member and what it is to honor our war dead. And those of us who wear this pin, we're not looking for any personal recognition for ourselves, but we do want to assure that nobody ever forgets the sacrifice that my husband and so many others have given on the battlefield.
It is the support of the family members and spouses that make our soldiers who they are, and a Gold Star pin is just the beginning of how the Army says, thank you. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.
Oxbow Meadows has a new exhibit. Here's a look at the Indian artifacts you can now find at their Environmental Learning Center.
Oxbow Meadows unveiled a new exhibit that displays artifacts and information on Creek Indians. The latest stop on the Creek Heritage Trail.
Creek Heritage Trail is a region-wide effort to help people understand a unique and critical aspect of our shared heritage. This is not just a story of Creek Indians, although in a large part that is the focus. It is really the story of how this region developed.
This trail includes sites in 18 of Georgia's counties, with its latest stop at the Oxbow Meadows Environmental Learning Center, displaying informational panels and artifacts.
The panels focus on daily life among the Creek Indians, the story of the Creek town of Casita, which is currently located on what is now Fort Benning, but that was a major Creek town, a major ceremonial, political, economic center for the Creeks for a very long time.
Located at the southern end of the Columbus River Walk, those who pass by will be able to read and learn about the tribes that were here and still call this land home.
Even though we're not here anymore, we're several states away, this is still home to us. It's very important to us. We've left a lot of things here. We left a lot of our history here. And unfortunately, a lot of it's not written. So by having this education and allowing us to partner with these different agencies, it allows us to help rewrite that history for our future generations. Otherwise, it'll be lost.
Inside Oxbow Meadows, visitors can view artifacts like arrowheads, pottery, copperworks, and jewelry. Tribal representatives able to attend the unveiling hope this information will educate the public that the Creek Indians are still around today. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
After the break, a World War II veteran shares his memories about surviving D-Day. In recognition of June 6 D-Day anniversary, the National Infantry Museum debuted a state-of-the-art 3D movie experience about World War II's D-Day. After the premiere, I sat down with a World War II veteran, Charles Maupin, to hear his story.
Charles Maupin is a Columbus resident. He's 94 years old and a World War II veteran. He has seen from the beaches of Normandy, awards from the French Legion of Honor, and a message to tell.
Veterans have an obligation to get out this story to all young people as much as possible.
Charles spent 34 months in service to the Army during World War II. And like many others of the time, a vast majority of it was spent overseas.
I was a radio operator for the battalion commander. I was in headquarters company, 3rd Battalion of the 175th Regiment of the 29th Infantry Division. I left home on December the 8th, and I got home on October the 17th, 1945. But I got home, and a lot of guys didn't.
The time spent overseas took him to the beaches of Normandy, where he would land at Omaha in part of Operation Neptune, and serve his country while witnessing the sacrifice of so many others.
Omaha Beach was the most heavily defended beaches of all 5 beaches. And the whole operation was so overwhelming that it was hard to really absorb everything that was going on. There was so much going on. I mean, there were ships coming to channel all over, carrying 150,000 troops toward the coast of Normandy, and thousands of planes flying over, and battleships firing their guns. And it was also awesome.
World War II was and remains the deadliest conflict in human history, involving over 30 countries and directly impacting more than 100 million people. Charles Maupin remembers his experience and counts himself lucky to have been able to fight for freedom.
It was something that was necessary. It was something that was not only protected our freedom, but it protected and brought the freedom to millions in Europe and other parts of the world. And there's nothing more important than that. And to be a part of that is really an honor and a privilege.
For those who serve our country today, Charles Maupin has this to say.
I think they're the greatest soldiers in the world. Absolutely, we don't have any better. There's no better anywhere.
As we recognize June 6 D-Day anniversary, Charles stresses the importance of preserving freedom and recognizing the sacrifices made so that we may enjoy the liberties of today.
I think D-Day was something we ought to always remember. It was one of the greatest and most dramatic events in the history of the world. We should never forget it.
Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.
I always enjoy meeting World War II veterans. That must have been incredible.
David, you have no idea. He shared so much. It was such a great interview with a lot of insight into the era. To watch this interview in its entirety, visit us on our YouTube channel.
I can't wait. We owe that entire generation so much. I look forward to it. And that will bring this edition of the Benning Report to an end.
But you can watch these stories and others on youtube.com/BenningTV or at benning.army.mil.
And you can also like us on Facebook.
From the Public Affairs Office, thanks for watching.